Hello, everyone. Very welcome to week 3 of our Slow Down online program. Not going to waste any time at the beginning of our practice as I want to get started. Just a little note of props that might be handy to have around. I have my 2 blocks or books here. At the end of the practice, you will have a choice of taking either one yin like stretch, and for that is great to have either a bolster or a pillow and a blanket that you can roll up to create a bolster like the first video showed you. And it might be an extra pillow and a blanket, but you will also have a choice to do some myofascial release with a couple of tennis balls or therapy balls if you have them. If not, you can always do the yin yoga stretch. All right, let's get started. Let's come down to lying down for this one. So come down in any shape or form on your back. If your lower back, which is going to be the focus of today's practice, is a little bit sensitive, I encourage you to keep your knees bent and allow the knees to sort of fall into the middle to support each other, and the legs, the ankles, can go wide. If you'd rather have your legs straight, feel free to do so. Allow the hands to either come onto your body if you feel like you need a little connection through your hands, or they can come by your side. Then you can either soften your gaze towards a point in the ceiling, or allow the eyes to close and allow the body just to arrive on the mat. And by I mean by that is just for a couple of moments, allow the body to soften into the support that's underneath it. And this might be the first time in your day that you come to stillness. So just notice how that feels. And if you need a little help of coming to a little rest, a stillness, take a deep inhale and sigh out. And on your sigh, allow the body to go heavy. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhale. And sigh out. One more time, in your own way. Really deep inhale, the deepest breath of the day. And then sigh out. And just take a couple of moments to note how this feels. The 3 deep breaths, they could change quite a bit in your body. And just notice how that feels. And just to check how we're starting our practice, where we're starting from. Notice what you feel around your left leg. Maybe that left leg can go a little bit heavier on your next exhale. And notice what you feel around your right leg, your hips, lower back, back of the shoulders, left arm and right arm. Notice the space you have above your face, all the little muscles around your lips, nose, eyes, and forehead. And then really allow the back of your head, where it's touching the mat, to go really heavy. Over the next 3 breaths, in your own way, just focusing on shedding or melting any tension in the body away, allowing the body to rest. Then feel free to linger a little as always, but if you're ready to start moving, inhale, maybe still with your eyes closed, like you're waking up in the morning and you're stretching the hands above your head. They don't need to touch the floor behind you. Just lengthening the body from toes to fingers. Then setting up for a little side bend, shuffle the feet to the bottom left corner. Leave your hips in the middle of the mat and then shuffle the shoulders to the top left corner. So you're creating a little banana shape with the body here. The hands can keep stretching out. Feel the stretch on the right side of your body and allow that to guide you. Where the hands go, you can grab the elbows, interlace them behind your head, or just leave one above you and the left one can go down. Right ankle can cross over. Whatever helps you to stretch for 3 breaths into the right side of the body. Notice how your breath moves the right ribs, how it feels in your right waistline. Soften the right shoulder. Let's take one more breath. Then gently, once you're ready, whoops, apologies if that scared you. Let's shuffle the feet into the middle of the mat. Allow the shoulders to follow, so you're in a straight line again. Just notice the difference between the left and right here before we move to the other side. Shuffling the feet to the top, bottom right corner, and the shoulders to the top right corner. Maybe crossing the ankles, stretching the hands, or interlacing the fingers or grabbing the elbows. Anywhere you can now find a stretch all along, anywhere along the left side of the body. Soften your chin to your chest or allow the neck to soften. And keep breathing into the left ribs, left waist, and the left side of the hip. 2 more breaths. Soften through the legs, soften through the lower back. Then slowly, when you're ready, allowing the feet to shuffle into the middle of the mat. The shoulders then follow into the middle. Just take another inhale here, like a cat waking up after a nice little nap. And then exhale, soften the hands by your side. And when the hands are down, just notice what you feel in the sides of the body. Notice the slight changes that work throughout your practice. Then allow the knees to bend. Widen your ankles, so maybe they're touching the sides of your mat. And you notice I've put a little blanket on today, just be extra comfortable. And then allow the shins just to windscreen wide, left to right. And they don't need to come all the way down onto the floor. Just allow your movement in your hips and your lower back to guide you, not forcing anything. Just do this a couple of more times. And next time you are on your left side, just continue the movements, roll onto your side and come up to all fours. I'm going to turn around. You stay where you are, just so I'm facing closer to you. Setting up for a cat-cow. On the exhale, roll the pelvis up, lift the middle of the back, drop the head, keep stretching the fingers into the mat. 2 breaths here. Keep lifting up from the back of the shoulders, widening the back of the chest. Then inhale, reversing the movement, dropping the belly down, lifting the chest towards the front. A little lift through the chin. Stretching through the throat, through all the front line of the body. 1 more breath here. Then start to go up and down in your own way, just using this movement. You might find that you have a little tension on the left side of the body, then you can move left, or you can go right. You can always just keep going up and down like a waves with your breath. Exhaling, going up, inhaling down. or any circles that you might start to feel could help you ease any tension out from shoulders, hips, or neck. And then one movement to add to this, I call the cat-cow wheel. And don't overthink this, but on the next inhale, almost like you're a wheel of a bicycle. Start going, inhale and bending the elbows, bringing the chest down and then back to the hips, almost into a child's pose. Then exhale, rounding all the way up to all fours again. And then inhale, wheeling down the chest, sliding it back. Then exhale, lifting up again. Let's do one more wheel here. You can always skip this and just keep going with your own cat and cow moves. Exhale, coming up. And now let's reverse the movement. Inhale, hips go back. Chest slides forward. Exhale, rounding up, bringing the hips back. Inhale, sliding forward. Let's do one more time. Exhale, go back. Inhale, sliding forward. Let's continue sliding forward here until we're on our belly. Hands either side of the chest or the sides of the body. Forehead on the mat. Let's do 3 flows in and out of low cobra. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Lift the head, lift the chest. Press the hips down. Exhale. Gently put yourself down again. 2 more times. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Press the hips down. Lift up through the top of the crown. Exhale, soften down. Feel how your whole spine is working. Inhale again, lift the head, lift the chest. Then exhale, soften down. Inhale, press yourself up to all fours. Move the hips down to your heels into a child's pose. We're going to do a little twist in your child's pose. Take one breath here more. And if you want anything underneath your forehead here, you can always allow that for a block or a book. Stay going into a twist. Allow the right hand to come closer to you. Turn the back of the hand down on the mat and slide it underneath your left armpit into the back of the right shoulder and the right side of the head or down on the mat. You need to move your hand or lift the hips a little bit up. That's absolutely fine. Just a twist towards the left here. Whether your hips are up or hips are down, maybe a little pressure down through the forearm here helps you rotate the left shoulder back. Keep breathing for 2 more breaths. Then exhale, slide the right hand towards you and front it goes. Notice the difference how you feel to the left and right. Then allow the left hand to slide towards you. Back of the left palm goes across the right armpit. You stretch the left hand away. So you're stretching now the left outer shoulder, moving through the left side of the lower back. And the hand can always come closer. You can move the hips, twisting towards the right side here. 3 breaths here. Always stay with your breath. Noticing how it is to breathe into the right side of the body here. Then gently in your own time, pulling the left hand towards you again, stretching it out. Take a little breath in your child's pose. Notice how you feel. And then inhale, rolling up again to all fours. Setting up for a super person here. Again, allowing your hands to kind of really stay in a place where you can press down, somewhere where your knees are securely grounded through to the mat. Hug the core into your lower back. Extend the top of the crown forward. Make your grounding on the mat strong. Then on the next inhale, start kicking the left leg back, squeezing the left glute, just keeping the left leg as strong or as high as you can. Hug the core into your lower back. Staying here, or perhaps the right hand starts lifting the opposite hand to the foot. Staying here for 3 breaths. Keep lengthening through the right fingertips, pointing the left toes, lengthen through the whole of the back for 1 more breath. Then very slowly, we're going to pull the right elbow and the left knee underneath our body. Keep hugging your core into your lower back, activating the front of the body, then pulling everything underneath. Think about your cat move here. And then inhale and again, releasing to the front. And then drop everything down. Before you move, just notice what you feel in the left and the right side of the body here. And if you need to wipe the slate clean, any movements where you just soften through any tension that might have built up throughout the spine. Now we do the other side. If you need anything underneath your knees here, take a blanket or double your mat over. So right leg starts to lift. We kick it back. Point the toe or flex it, whatever feels good for you here. Keep kicking the heel back or pointing the toe back. Squeeze that right glute. Hug the core into your lower back. Keep extending the spine. Use the pressure down through your hands. And then maybe the left hand lift as well. 3 breaths here. Hold. Keep breathing, hugging on your muscles in towards your spine, in towards your lower back. 1 more breath. Then on the next exhale, very slowly. And how slowly can you go? Challenge yourself here. Moving the right knee, the left elbow, slowly underneath the body. Then lifting it all up. Keep a pressure down through your right hand, lifting it into your core. And then inhale again, very slowly. Releasing everything out, lengthening the left hand, right foot. Then soften everything down. Again, before you move, find stillness. Notice what you feel, what has changed. Then any movement, move it out. Hoover up the tension. Soften around the lower back. Then once you're ready, allow your right foot to come forward, setting up for low lunge. Now we did that about a couple of weeks ago. So if you need any movement to get into your legs, feel free to do that. Fix your gaze forward, allowing the hands to shift up. Squeeze your left glute, find a stretch on the front left thigh. Both hands lift up, fix the gaze forward. Breathe. 2 breaths here. Keep lengthening the spine, widening through your hips. Then doing a little back bend here, imagining that there's a little string at your sternum pulling you up so we're not falling into our lower back. We're lifting up from our hips, reaching the fingertips up, maybe tilting the chin up as well. Or if it's in your wheelhouse, the hands can come behind you, interlacing, stretching down, and then you lift up through the chest. Or the hands can be on your hips here. 2 more breaths. Lengthening from the left knee all the way up to your chest, lifting up for 1 more breath. Then exhale, soft. Doing a little twist to the other side here. So I'll turn your way. Allow the left hand to go onto your outer right thigh. And it doesn't have to be elbow. Keep a length through your spine, allowing the left elbow, the left forearm, palm facing away from the body, coming out, right hand on your right hip. And then we turn the left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Keep squeezing your front thigh into the left hand, turning towards the left. 2 breaths here. Looking over your right shoulder, squeeze your glutes, press the back toe down onto the mat. Then gently come forward. Hands come down, step your right leg back into your all fours. Notice what you feel left to right. And if there's any movement you need to make, gently move. 1 more breath. And let's step the left leg forward. Coming to low lunge on the other side. Feel your legs, feel that stretch on the right hip. Squeeze the glutes, press the feet down, then allow the hands to lift up. 2 breaths here before we do anything else, just to allow the body to adjust to the shape. Keep pressing the feet down, lifting up the fingers. Then that string in the sternum moves your chest up. You keep pressing the legs down, and particularly the back leg. Hands can come behind you. Again, keep lifting up from the lower back or hands onto your hips. 1 more breath here. Keep your spine strong, lifting everything up to the sky. Then soften down. Going into our twist. Right hand moves on the other side of the left thigh. Keep squeezing that left thigh out into the arm so you get this little hook and anchor. Left hand onto the left hip. Then turning and twisting the right shoulder forward, left shoulder back, looking over the left shoulder. 3 breaths here. Keep engaging your legs. Keep bending that left knee forward. Engaging the back toe down. 1 more breath. Then gently unwind. Hands come down, step the front leg back. Any little movements here, rolling up and down. Noticing how you start feeling in your body. I'm definitely a little bit warmer than I started. Now, tuck your toes under. Allow the hips to come back. You can stay in child's pose here or lift your hips up, coming into a downward dog. If you're in your downward dog, walk your feet a little bit wider. We're going to do just a little side stretch. So walk your hands closer to your feet. And you can take your blocks here to lay your hands on, but just start shifting towards the right. Maybe the hands land onto your left foot. So I'll turn towards you. So just lengthening the right side of the body, hands touch the foot, and maybe they just hook onto here and keep pressing both legs down and leading and lengthening the right side here, all the way through the right side of the right lower back. If you're in your child's pose still, you can just take a child's pose to the side. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then gently soften, walk your hands over to the other side, hooking your hands anywhere onto your right leg. When your hands are hooked, you just lift up and lengthen through the left side. Keep folding forward, lifting the hips up. Stay for 3 breaths. If in your child's pose, you just walk your hands to the opposite side. Stretching out the left side through the left side of the lower back. 1 more breath. And then if you're in your child's pose, come back into the middle. If you're in your downward dog, gently walk your hands forward again. Slowly allow the knees to come down. And either from child's pose or your downward dog, come to your knees. Now, that's the sort of ending of the flow practice, but I'm going to set up for 2 options, and you can pick whatever you would like to do today. The first one I'm going to show you is a yin yoga shape. So that's a stretch that we will hold for about 5 minutes. If you want to do the stretch, we're going to do a butterfly stretch. First, note if you need any help to tilt your pelvis forward. If when you're seated, you feel like your hips are being pulled back and you need to fall forward, take a blanket or pillow, move it underneath your bum, slide it a little bit past, allow your knees to move aside, and it's going to be the sensation in your lower back and your hips, outer hips, that are going to be guiding your shape here today. So knees can be, they can be close together, they can be apart, you can even cross them. Whatever helps you feel a stretch at the end in your lower back and the outer hips. To help you, you can roll up a blanket underneath your knees. You can use your bolster here for the knees. Fold forward, hold your head, You can use the bolster or your homemade bolster from pillows and blankets to fold over like this. Maybe you need a little help when you go further down. Then something, either a bolster, a couple of blocks or books, help support your head if you start to feel too much. And remember, the sensation we're looking for here is 5, 6, or 7 out of a scale from 1 to 10. When you found a shape, allow all of the body to soften and find your breath and stay and soften into your stretch. And if your stretch is changing, either increasing or decreasing, then adjust your shape and your props accordingly. Now, for those of you who want to do some work on the lower back with the balls, if you're in your yin yoga shape, you can sort of shut off your hearing for a couple of minutes. I'll be back to you. If you want to do your lower back, we're going to start on our backs, allowing the ribs to lift, and place the balls right at the bottom of the bottom ribs. So just underneath the bottom ribs, either side of the spine. Allow your hips to soften down at the start. So your balls are there in the soft space in your lower back, underneath or below the bottom ribs. Lift your hips a little gently and start rolling your waist left to right. And when you do that, you find your body sliding over the balls, and the balls are sliding over the muscles that go parallel to the spine, up and down. And the same thing as the yin shape here, you don't want any too much tension. You just want to be working bit by bit, rolling back and forth, noticing different pockets of sensation. I'll do that 2 more times. And if your balls are sliding, they can always go more left to right. The placement is dictated by your sensation. And stop and soften. We're going to do 1 more spot below this one on your lower back. So just stay for 4 breaths here. Soften the hips down. You can straighten the legs or keep them bent. You can put something a little bit underneath your hips if you need more weight of the body down on the balls. If you're in your yin yoga shape, notice if your edge has changed, either decreased or increased, then adjust accordingly and just stay and soften into your sensation, whether you're working in a stretch or on the balls. With the balls, we're now going to roll into the bottom half of the lower back. So like a ball length above the ridge of the pelvis, either side of the spine, but you can choose how far left and right you go. In the same way as before, we lift the hips and we start sliding them, working, exploring the line left to right in our lower back. Whether you're working with the balls or you're in your stretch, keep moving with your breath, noticing the different sensations in your body. Now slide about a couple of more times and do go all the way to the edges of your waist. And then find a place to soften. And you can try a little here if you want to pick 1 leg up at a time if you are using the balls. If you're in your stretch, just notice if you've crept any more further in your forward fold. Holding a stretch for a while sometimes lengthens the tissues, the fascia tissue and the muscles. So you might have a different range here. If you're with your balls, you could even try hooking the hands onto the knees. If this is not too tense, again, remember 5 or 6 or 7. If you're in the stretch or working on the balls, you never want to go across 7. You never want to go to a place where the body cannot soften and be safe, or your breath starts to catch. Soften your shoulders. Whether you're working with the balls or in your stretch, notice if there's any tension in your jaw. Allow the head to be heavy. And we'll stay for 10 more breaths. And if you're working with the balls, you can come into a little stillness here. Maybe the legs come up on something if you need more weight down onto the balls. If you're in your stretch or working with the balls, use your last 5 exhales to really allow the body to melt into its support. And maybe you use the breath we started our practice with, a deep inhale, filling the body with breath. And exhale, soften everything. Let's do one more breath like this. Inhale, drawing the breath in. And sigh it all out and melt the body down. Now this is your practice, so you can linger a little longer wherever you are. When you're ready to move, if you're using the balls, just gently lift the hips, put the hands aside. If you're in your yin yoga shape, gently from where you are. And you've been staying here for quite a long time, so when you start to move, go very slowly, bit by bit, rolling the back up. And whether you're using the balls, we're just looking for a way to come down onto our backs again. Coming into your last Savasana. And both if you're in your stretch or you've worked with the balls, just notice what is lingering after the long stretch or your work with the balls. Soften your eyes or close them completely. Take any shape you would like to finish a practice in. And just soften towards any of the more subtler sensations you are finding in your body. And perhaps they are in the area we have worked with, the lower back. Or maybe they are somewhere else as our body is fully connected from top to bottom. And left to right and back to front. Notice what moves when you are still. Please finish your practice in your own time. Stay as long as you can or as long as you like. I hope this was useful for you at the beginning of your day, in the middle of your day, or at the end of it. I look forward to see you next week when we will be live on Zoom, if you can make it, but you will always have the recording as well. Take care of yourself. Move slowly and mindfully throughout your day, just in the same way as we do in our practice.